Hello everyone, welcome to Tech and Target, and in this video we are going to talk about the Infosys System Engineer Logical Reasoning Sample Questions. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the first question says, so look at this series 22, 21, 23, 22, 24, 23. What number should be coming next? So if we write these numbers one by one here, uh, it's just like that. And if we see what is the difference between these two numbers, it is actually -1, right? So 20 from 22, we are subtracting -1. And what is the relationship between this number and this number? So it was -1 from here to here, and it is +2, right? So 21 plus 2 is 23. So from here to here, it is +2. So from again here to here, it is again -1. So from here to here, again 22 plus 2, right? 22 plus 2, 24. And from here to here, again, it is -1. So ideally, so alternatively, the numbers, the differences are -1 and +2, right? So since it is alternative and the last one that we have used is -1, so obviously it should be +2. So 23 plus 2 would result in 25, and that will be the answer for this question. So which is option C, and we will mark that as the option for this question. All right. Now, we'll move on to the second question. So the second question is also similar to first one, but with a bit more difficulty level, a bit more of a high difficulty level than the previous one that we have already solved. So the question goes something like this. We are given 8, 6, 9, 23, and 87. Now they are asking what number should come next, right? Now, if you see the difference from here to here is -2. It is from here to here it is +3, and from 23 to 9 is it is 14. It is +14, and from 87 to 23, so that is +64. So if you carefully observe, we are not able to find any kind of pattern from this kind of a thing. Now we will see if that is if there is any multiple relationship, or if there is any a product relationship. So if we multiply 8 with 1, we'll get 8, not 6, right? Now so if we try to see again, so again we see that 6 ones is 6 and 6 twos is 12. So this is also we are not able to get. And if you see, so 9 from 9 to 23, how can we move? We can move like 9 threes are 27, or you can go 9 twos are 18, right? Now from 23, so we can go 23 times 4, right? So 23 times 4 would be 92, or you can go 23 times 3. So 23 times 3 would be 69, but this would be too long for 87, right? So if this is the case, what we will do, see, if you carefully observe here again, so from 8 ones is equal to 8. So that means from going from 8 to 6, so how much less it is having? So initially, if we multiply it, 8 ones are 8, we are getting it as 8, but the actual number is 6. So what does that mean? We are subtracting 2 from it, right? So if we subtract 2 from it, we'll get 6. Now, if you want to go from 6 to 9, so how can we do it? We can either multiply it by 1 and we can add 3, right? So if we add 3, but initially we had done subtraction, right? So if we add again, it does not make sense, right? Now, initially we'll try for subtraction, then we'll go for addition if that is required, right? So if you can see, so 6 times 2 is 12. So 12, but the actual number is 9, right? So to get 9 as the answer, how much do we need to subtract? We need to subtract 3, isn't it? Now, in the same way, so if we want to go from 9 to 23, so what we'll do, as I said, so we'll consider the subtraction case, right? So we'll see whether we are able to get any pattern out of it. So 9 3s are 27. So 27, but the actual number is 23. So if we want to get the actual number 23, how much we need to subtract? We need to subtract 4. 27 minus 24 is 23. So if you carefully observe here, we are able to get a pattern here. So firstly, it was subtracted with 2, then it was subtracted with 3, then it was subtracted with 4. Then here again, so we'll take a bigger number, 92. That minus, if this was 4, this would be 5, right? So 92 minus 5 is 87. Now in the same way, so this was 23 times 4. Now we'll go for 87 times 5, right? So 87 times 5 is equal to 435. And we had subtracted -5, but here we will subtract -6, right? If we subtract minus 6, we'll get 429, right? So this option is present in option D, that we will mark it, right? So basically how it is happening. So firstly, we'll multiply it with 1, then subtract it with 2. Then we will multiply it with 2, subtract 3. Then the number is 9. So we'll multiply it with 3. Then we will subtract 4. Then the number is 23. We'll multiply it with 4. Then we'll subtract it with 5. Then the number is 87. We will multiply it with 5. Then we will subtract it minus 1. Right? We'll subtract it by minus 6. So basically, we are incrementing the multiplication step starting from 1. And we'll, for every number, we are multiplying it with a number after incrementing it, right? So that was multiplication started from 1, but the subtraction started from 2, and in every iteration we are increasing the subtraction value by 1, right? So finally we are able to get answer as 429. So we'll mark option D, which is having 429 as the solution to this question. All right, now we'll move to the third question. So the third question is related to alphabetic series. So the first thing that you have to do whenever you get the alphabet series is, you just have to write alphabets from A to Z in such a way that you write in the first row until M, and in the second row you come reverse from N to Z, right? How do we do that? Just like this. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. So after M, you start again from the bottom. N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now, you just look all the first letters of this alphabets, right? So what you have to do, you just have to look the first letters of all the words. So firstly, it was E. So which means this E. Then the second is G. So the second is G. The third is I. The third is I. The fourth one is missing, but the fifth one is M. So fifth one is M. So basically what they are doing in, in every alternative word, the first letter is incremented by 2, right? So initially it was here. We are leaving one alphabet here. Then we're going for the next alphabet for the second word. For the third word, we are again, leaving one letter in the middle. Then we are going for the second letter for the, the second alphabet for the first letter of the next word. So same way, if we have to ignore this one letter again, and we have to take the next alphabet for the first letter of the next word, right? So the first letter of the next word would be K. So basically this option would be closed and this option would be closed. Now only two options are there. And if you carefully observe here, so this K is same, this L is same, this L is same, this A is same, this A is same. Now you have to check whether you'll be getting M or L in the third place, right? So in the third place, you have to check which option you will get. Now, for that, what you have to do, just a second, I'll remove all of this. All right, now see, now you just have to look at the third letters because remaining letters are anyway same. Even if you check, you will get the same answer for both of them. The only thing that you have to, now you have to check is the third letter because that is a deciding factor for choosing the option between B and D. Now for that, we will check all the third letters of all the words. Now, the first letter was F. The letter in the first word was F, and then H, then J, then N. So in the middle, one letter is missing that we have to find out. Now, if you again observe here, the same thing is happening. One letter is left behind between the consecutive words, right? For this word to this word, you are leaving one letter between them, right? So for H and F and H, there is one letter left behind. For H and J, there is one letter left behind. For J and L, one letter should be left behind. So we are leaving this L. We are leaving this K, and we will be taking this L. And again for L and N, we will be removing this M, and would have taken N. So we had taken N, but the thing that we have to take for the fourth word is the fourth word, third letter would be L. So we are already having K, L and A, and the third letter would be L. So which is your option D. So you'll mark option D as the right answer for this solution. And we will go on to the next question. So the question here says, here are some words translated from an artificial language. So this is related to artificial language. So basically you will be given some words and you will be given their meanings. Then you have to find out what this particular word would mean in that particular language. All right, it's very simple. Now, if you see here, Meigenlassen means cupboard. So there are two words here. The cup is a different word, board is a different word, and Meigen is, and we don't know about this Meigenlassen, whether they are, so we will not be able to tell what exactly is cup and what exactly is board. So we'll be able to get to understand about that only after seeing the repeated words in the next sentences, right? Now we are seeing Lassen poem means boardwalk, right? Now what is the common words between the first line and the second line? It is board, right? So this word is also having board and this word is also having board. Now, what is the common words between Meigen-Lassen and Lassen-Poen? So it is Lassen, right? So there is also Lassen here. So there is a Lassen here also. Now that means what? So Lassen means board, right? Now Lassen means board. And now what is the remaining word here? It is Meigen, right? So that Meigen would now mean cup. Now, so if Lassen means board, what does Poen mean? So Poen means that it is a walk, right? All right. Now, we are again having Cob dancer means Pullman, right? So Pullman means Cob dancer. So we want walkway, right? So we have word for walk, which is Poen. So there would be Poen for sure. So if that is the case, so these two words are not having Poen in them. So this will not be the options. So it can be either option A or option D. All right. Now we also see that this word is having Meigen, which actually meant Meigen means cup, right? But we want not cup, but actually way, right? So we want way and not cup. So this option would also be not a suitable option for this question. So only the remaining word, which is Poen 4, is the right answer for this question. So with that being said, let's go on to the next question. So the next question is something like this. So they have given reptile is to lizard as flower is to something dash. So what does this mean? So basically what they have given is, so they have given some relation in the first relationship. Then according to that, what we have to find out what would be the word for this particular word, right? So for reptile, they have given lizard. What does this mean? So in reptiles, we know that lizard is one of a reptile. Now, in the same way, we have to give a word to this such that that is a flower, right? We just have, so that what does it mean? We have to select a word which is the name of a flower, right? So if you see here, petal is not a flower, but it is a part of a flower. So this will not be the right option. Now stem is again a part of a plant and it is not a flower. So we'll not take this option. Alligator is not at all a plant or a flower. So we'll not consider this option at all. So the only option that is left is daisy. So you will choose daisy. And we also know there is a flower called as daisy flower. So basically the option C, which is having the daisy as an option. So we will choose that daisy as an option for this particular question. So basically they have given some relationship as reptile such that lizard. So reptile is that such that lizard means what? In reptiles, so we are considering an example as lizard, and in flowers we have to consider an example which is a flower. So in all the three options, in all the four options, we only have one flower, which is daisy. So we will choose daisy as an option and we'll move on to the next question. All right. Now we'll move on to the next question, which is, so they have given the directions first. So in the following question, two statements are given. So these are the two statements. That is statement 1, this is statement 2. And these statements are followed by two conclusions, number 1 and 2. So this is conclusion 1 and this is conclusion 2. So you have to take the given two statements to be true, even if they seem to be variants from commonly known facts. So what does this mean? Even if you know, according to practical conditions, even if they are false, you have to assume that they are true, right? So this is what they're trying to convey. Now, after that, so you have to read the conclusions and then decide which of the given conclusions logically follows from the two given statements, disregarding commonly known facts. So what does this mean again? So you do not worry about what will be the actual fact, but what you have to do is, after reading these statements, And after reading these two conclusions, you have to check, you have to tell with these statements, I mean, with the knowledge of these two statements, you have to tell which of these follow, right? Which of these statements follow. So whether the only the statement one follows or only the second one follows, or if both the conclusions follow, you have to tell which conclusion actually following the statements that they have given. So even if the statements might be practically wrong, you have to assume that the statements are actually right, and you have to answer the question in accordance to the the knowledge provided by the statements. And you should not assume anything, you should not take care of any facts even if the statements are practically wrong. So you just have to believe in the statements, and you just have to answer in terms of what the statement is proving you or what the statement is telling you to do, right? So you do not have to consider any facts even if the statements are wrong. You have to believe the statements are correct. Then according to the statements, you have to tell which conclusion follows, either one, two, or both of them, or none of them, right? So this is the question. So this is how you need to answer it. So there will be 2 or 3 questions definitely. I guess there would be 2 questions at least from this particular topic. So you just have to be careful while answering this question. So these are very simple to understand, but at the same time very confusing to answer also. So you have to be careful while selecting the options. All right. Now, with that being said, let's get into the question. So statements that they have given are some papers are pens. So what does it mean? So we know papers are not pens, but even though it is practically wrong, they have to believe that. So this is correct, right? Now they are telling you what? Some papers are pens. What does it mean? Not all papers are pens. Not all papers are pens, right? So there are some papers which are pens, and it may not be true that all papers are pens. It does not mean all papers are pens, and it does not mean all pens are papers. From the knowledge that we have gotten from this statement, there are some papers which are also pens. So this is a statement that we are having now. So what is the next question? What is the next statement? So the next statement is all pencils are pens, right? Now what is this thing? All pencils are pens. Now again, so what they're telling, so if there is any pencil, then it is definitely a pen. So this is what the meaning of this statement is. If there is any pencil, it is also a pen. But it does not mean that all pens are pencils. It so happens that if it is a pencil, then it is a pen. It does not mean that if it is a pen, then it is a pencil. This is not the case. What they are telling you, if it is a pencil, then it is a pen. But at the same time, they have given about papers also. There are some papers which are pens, but not all papers are pens. And at the same time, not all pens are papers. And at the same time, not all pens are pencils, right? Now, so we'll see the conclusions, right? With the knowledge that we are having right now, we will see the conclusions. Now we'll see the first conclusion, some pens are pencils. Now, is that correct or not? So we know that all pencils are pens. And it is conversely true that all pens may not be pencils, but it so happens that since all pencils are pens, there may be some pens which are actually pencils. So with that, we can conclude statement 1 is true, right? So can we take the first option A as the right answer? No, we can't. So even though the option 1 is clear that the conclusion 1 follows, but still we have to look at the second option, and then only we have to decide which option to choose. Until then, we should not choose any option. All right. Now we'll see the second option. They say that some pens are papers, right? So we know that some papers are pens, right? If some papers are pens, then definitely there will be some pens which are actually papers, right? If not all, right? If not all pens are papers, there would be some pens which are also papers, right? Because we know that some papers are actually pens, so there should be some pens which are actually papers. So this statement is also following now. So that's why I've told you, when you get an option as an answer, you directly should not go for it. You have to read the entire statement and entire conclusions before making any judgment. So what does this mean here? So option 1 is also correct, option 2 is also correct. So both the conclusions are following. If you would have read only conclusion 1 and if you would have marked option A, then you would have got 0 marks because option A is wrong, because option C is right option for this question, because both the statements are following both the conclusions are following the statements. So if you would have marked option A only, then you would have got wrong. Even though it is correct, it would be wrong because you have not taken care of the second conclusion that is being there. So it would be marked as wrong. So you have to be careful. So you have to read both the conclusions and then only you should be doing the judging the answer, right? So till then you should not choose any option. All right. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the next question. Now, what is again the next question? So the next question is, if in a code language, code is written as BNTKC and margin is written as LZQFHM, how will molding be written in that code? Now, all right. Now, if this is the case, as I've told you earlier, whenever you get something related to alphabetical series, what you have to do, firstly, you have to write the alphabets from A to Z, and that too in the first row, in terms of 2 rows, right? And in the first row, you have to write from A to M, and in the second row, you have to write from N to Z, but in the reverse order. All right. Now, what will happen? E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and in the bottom, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and then Z. Now, how is could is written in that particular language? So C is written as B. So for C, you are writing B. For O, you are writing N, right? So for O, you are writing N. So for O, you are writing N. For U, you are writing T. For U, you are writing T. So what does it mean? So for every word, for every letter, you are writing the letter before it, right? So for C, you have written B. For O, you are writing N. For U, you are writing T. For L, you are writing K. So for L, you are writing K. For D, you are writing C. For D, you are writing again C. Right? So what does it mean? For every letter in the given word, you are writing the letter before that as the code language for your particular word. For the same thing applies for the margin as well. For M, you are writing L. For A, you are writing Z, right? So what is the letter before A here? So A, the letter before A is Z. So for R, you are writing Q. For R, you are writing Q. For G, you are writing F. For G, you are writing F. For I, you are writing H. For I, you are writing H. For N, you are writing M. Because that for before N, the M letter is there. Now, using this thing, how do you write this now? So what is the thing that we want to write here? For molding, right? So for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now for M, you have to write one letter before it, which is L. For O, you have to write one letter before it, which is N. So for U, you have to write one letter before it, which is T. For L, you have to write one letter before it, which is K. For D, you have to write one letter before it, which is C. For I, you have to write one letter before it, which is H. And okay, this is H. Now one letter before N, which is M, and one letter before G, which is F. Right. Now what is this? So L and T K C H M F. L and T K C H M F. So which is your option C. So you'll mark option C and we'll move to the next question. So the next question is related to arrangements. So what they are telling you? So they are telling that study the following information carefully to answer the questions. So there are Lakshman, Madan, Naresh, Prakash, Dhananjay, Rohit and Sandhya who are sitting in a circle and they are playing cards. Now they are telling Naresh, who is neighbor of Prakash, is not the neighbor of Prakash. Okay, we will firstly draw a circle. Then we will assign 7 seats there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, what they're telling, Naresh, who is the neighbor of Prakash? So Naresh is a neighbor of Prakash. Now, since he is a neighbor and they have not told you whether in the left side or in the right side, what you will do, you will consider both the cases, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if this person is Naresh, then in the right side also it may be Prakash, right? So if this is Naresh, then in the left side also it may be Prakash, who is not the neighbor of Rohit. So we have to make sure that we should not write R here, right? So we should not write R here, and we will see, that after somewhere, right? So we'll see that after considering all the cases, right? Now, Dhananjay is second to the left of Rohit, but we don't know where to place Dhananjay and Rohit as of now, because there are so many slots, and we will be confused to write where to write that, right? But we know that Naresh is second to the left of Sandhya, right? And we know the placement of Naresh, right? So here it is, here it is. So Naresh is second to the left of Sandhya. What does that mean? If Naresh is here, then Sandhya would be here. If Naresh is here, then Sandhya would be here, right? So this is how it is. Sandhya, who is the neighbor of Madan. So they are again telling that Sandhya is a neighbor of Madan. So what does it mean? So either Madan can be sitting here, or Madan can be sitting right side of it, right side of the Sandhya. So how can we do that? So how can we do that? So just like that. All right, just a second. Okay. Okay. So this is the thing. And how do we do that? So Madan can be in the left side of Sandhya, or he can be on the right side of the Sandhya as well. So if he is on the right side, he can be M here, there is N here, and there is one space here, then there is P, then there are two, how many slots? 2 slots, and say yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, so Sandhya is a neighbor of Madan, right? So Sandhya is a neighbor of Madan. Sandhya is a neighbor of Madan here, and Naresh is to the second to the left of Sandhya, right? And here also Naresh is second to the left of Sandhya. M is a neighbor of Sandhya, right? So actually S is neighbor of Sandhya. So whenever it is neighbor, it can be either on the left side or it can be on the right side. Now this statement is also over. Now what is the second, third statement that we have left? So the third statement was Dhananjay is second to the left of Rohit. So Dhananjay is second to the left of Rohit. How can we mention that using this one? So if you write Dhananjay here, so the person Rohit should have been here, right? But since there is no position here, there are no 3 consecutive positions empty here, or at least if there could be anything, something like this, if there is any person here, and we could have written something like this, right? So Dhananjay is second to the left of Rohit. So if this is Rohit, then Dhananjay could have been placed somewhere over here. But there is no such arrangement possible with this seating arrangement. So this seating arrangement is not correct. Now since this is not correct, we will not consider this as a solution. So to make a solution, we will see the first and the second one. So how do we do? So we'll again check if there is any proper positions available in these arrangements. Now we will see. So Dhananjay can be sitting in the left, second to the left of Rohit, right? So second means what? So Dhananjay can be sitting. And one more thing we forgot to mention Madan here, right? So Madan is a neighbor of Sandhya. So we are having 3 consecutive positions here. Now Dhananjay is second to the left of Rohit. If Rohit is here, then Dhananjay should be here, right? And what is the one leftmost position? What is the person who is missing here? Who is the person that is missing? It is Lakshman. So Dhananjay is second to the left of Rohit, and Lakshman is sitting in between them. Now this is one condition. Now if we write like this, what is happening here? So the thing is, Naresh, who is the neighbor of Prakash, is not the neighbor of Rohit. But in this particular arrangement, Naresh is being the neighbor of Rohit. So this particular arrangement is also not correct, right? If that is the case, we'll remove this particular arrangement also. Now only arrangement that is being left is the first arrangement that we have did. So we will check how can we place the Rohit and Dhananjay. All right. So just like that. Okay, if this is Rohit, then this could be Dhananjay, because Dhananjay is left to second to the left of Rohit. So if this is Rohit, then this is his right, this is his left, and in between Lakshman will be present. Now this is the seating arrangement, and this is following all the required conditions. Now we will check whether which of the options is correct. Now say is Dhananjay is the neighbor of Sandhya and Lakshman. So this is Dhananjay. So he is a neighbor to Sandhya. Yes. He is a neighbor to Lakshman. Yes. So option A is working well and good. Now we'll see whether Madan is a neighbor of Sandhya and Lakshman. So Madan is a neighbor of Sandhya, but he is not a neighbor of Lakshman, because Madan is here, but Lakshmani is here. So option B is not true. Now we'll see for Rohit. Rohit is a neighbor of Sandhya and Lakshman. Sandhya is here, Lakshman is here, Rohit is here. So Rohit is just a neighbor to Lakshman and not Sandhya. So this option is also not true. Now we see Lakshman is a neighbor of Prakash and Madan. So Prakash and Madan, Prakash is here, Madan is over here, and so Lakshman is somewhere over here. So this is not at all true. So we'll not mark this option also. So the only option that satisfies the condition is option A. So we'll mark option A as the right answer for this question, and we will move on. So basically, whenever you are given some arrangements, you have to, try out all possible structures. Then only after drawing all the possible things, all the possible arrangements, then only you have to judge which one is correct or which one is wrong. Right? If any conditions fail, you have to remove that from your set. Right? So this is how you do it. So initially we created 3 diagrams. From that we removed 2. Then we finally got 1. And from that we are giving our judgment. Just like this, you also have to follow the same. All right. Now we'll move on to the next question. In a certain code, computer is written as something like this. How is medicine written in the same code? So basically, if you carefully observe here, what it is happening here. So this is R, this is C. So this is also R, this is also C. So what does this mean? So the last letter is being turned out to be the first letter, and the first letter is being turned out to be the last letter. So what they are doing? So they have reversed the entire string. So if you reverse computer, what will get? RET UPMOC. So these letters are same, but there is something going wrong with this, right? So for you, you're having F, for T, you're having U, for U, you are having V, for P, you're having Q, for M, you're having N, and for O, you're having P. And in the same way, so what will be happening here? So M and E will be exchanged. I mean, like you have to reverse medicine. So if you, if you reverse medicine, what will happen? MENICIDEM, medicine. Yes. So this will be fixed, right? So according to this, R and C, here also E and M will be fixed. So what does that mean? So option C and option D will not be true at all, because the first letter is itself not true in these cases. Now you have to choose between this option and this option. All right. Now what they're doing here? So for every letter, for E they are giving F, so they're adding 1. For T you are giving one, U, you are adding 1. For U you are giving V, you are adding 1. So in the same way, for N you have to add 1, which is O. For I you have to add 1, which is J. For C you have to add 1, which is D. I, J. For D, E. For E, F, which is E, O, J, D, J, E, F, M. So E, O, J, D, E, J, E, O, J, D, E, J. No, it is not E, J. So E, O, J, D, J, E, F, M. So this is the right option. So we'll mark option A as the right answer for this question. So basically you're reversing the entire word, then you are keeping the first and last letter as the same, and for all the remaining letters you are adding 1 letter. All right. Now, what is the angle between 2 hands when the time is 5:30? So in our previous videos, I've told you firstly what you have to do whenever you want to find the angle. So firstly, you will find out what will be the angle at 5 o'clock, right? So if this is 5, so this is 5, there will be 1, there is 2, there is 3, and there is 4. For every 1 hour difference, there will be 30 degree. So for 5 hours, there would be 5 into 30, which is 150 degree. And what we have to do is, so for every 1 minute, your the relative distance traveled between hour hand and the minute hand would be 5.5 degrees. So this concept I've told you in that previous video only, which is 2-hour long video. So the link of that video will be provided in the description. You can go ahead and check that video as well. And the same way, so for every 1 minute, the relative distance traveled between the hour hand and the minute hand will be 5.5. So this thing has to be repeated for 30 minutes because they have given 5:30. So 5.5 into 30. So 5.5 means what? 5 to 10, 10 plus 1, 11, 11 by 2 into 30. So this would be 2 15s. So this is 165 degree. Now, when you get these two values, you have to just subtract the values and you have to take the absolute value as the solution. So which is 165 minus 150 degree. So that would be 15 degrees, right? So this is our answer. So you can mark option D as the right answer for this question, and you can move on for next question. All right. So yes, this is it for this video. So if you understood the concepts, so please like this video and comment down if you have any other doubts, and also give us suggestions on what topics we should make the video. And if there are any suggestions that you need to give, that you want to give, you can yes, please, you can surely go ahead and yes, share it among your friends as well. And all the very best for your Infosys system engineer role exam. So I hope you will be doing great in that particular exam. So thanks a lot. So we'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. All the very best.